This is attorney Andy Marcantel and attorney Mark J. Victor here today with an exciting new show announcement with the one, the only Lauren Liberty. How's it going, Mark?
I'm excited to do this. I mean, first of all, she's bigger than us already. And her first video got over 1 million views.
It did, yeah. Put us to shame.
She's way bigger than us, and she's no question more people are going to be interested in talking to Lauren Liberty than they are to Mark and Andy.
Well, Lauren, good to see you. And for people who don't know, Lauren's one of our awesome paralegals here, but really she's a Second Amendment activist. She's a freedom activist and has an awesome backstory. If you guys don't know about the types of work she's been involved with, you'll be learning all about her soon in a brand new podcast you're going to be doing. How you doing today, Lauren?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm super excited to be here. I always love to have any opportunity to chat with you guys because you're so busy.
Tell us about your new podcast.
Sure, yeah. So the podcast is going to be called Armed and Fabulous with Lauren Liberty. I loved that because it's a play on armed and dangerous, but flipping it on its head and being armed and fabulous, because just because you're armed doesn't mean that you're a danger, right? So I liked that. I thought it was cute. I thought it kind of went with my style. So I'm really excited. And it's going to be a great opportunity to just discuss the issue of women and the Second Amendment. And now that's not to say that it's only going to be related to women, but our rights are your rights. So if it's guaranteed for women, it's guaranteed for you too. And I think it's very important because most people have a woman in their lives. They have a mother, a sister, a wife, even a female friend. And I can pretty much guarantee you at one point in her life, that woman has felt like, wow, I am in a situation that I wish that I was better prepared for and wish that I had some way to defend myself. Whether it was just somebody that made them uncomfortable or whatever, I guarantee you it's crossed their mind at least once. And so I want this to sort of be a space to discuss things like that and to help women and especially female AOR members too, to have just something to turn to if they want that female perspective on things.
And you had a pretty harrowing personal experience that started your activism journey. For those who don't know about it, you want to just go over that real quick?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm originally from New York, and I learned that in New York, you can't use anything to defend yourself if you're in a situation. You are at the risk of catching charges yourself, even if it seems like a legit situation to you. They'll find some way to actually go against the victim. Basically, when I was reading the way the laws were set up there, that was how I took it, and I felt very much at a disadvantage. At this point, I did not know that I had a medical condition, but I knew that I wasn't physically equipped to fight. So I knew that I needed tools of self-defense, and I felt very much at a disadvantage being in New York. I lived in the suburbs of the city, so I hated feeling like at any time somebody could just attack me and I was basically SOL.
Sitting duck.
Yeah. I was a fish in a barrel. So I moved to Florida, and as soon as I moved to Florida, I got my concealed carry permit. A couple of years after getting my CCW, I carried everywhere, but I tried to really follow the law and be a law-abiding citizen, which now sometimes I understand can have really dire consequences. So I went to an event that was in a gun-free zone. And of course, me thinking that I'm doing the right thing, I left my firearm at home. I was stalked by a guy who found me online, and he grabbed me by my arms and was dragging me to his vehicle. The doors were open, the car was running, so I had no doubt in my mind that he was trying to abduct me. Thankfully, I just made it as much of a struggle as I could for the guy. He was actually smaller than me, so it's not even like he was this big hulking dude. He was smaller than me. He was strong as hell, dragging me, and I just went dead weight. I dropped myself to the ground to just try to buy myself some time to figure out how am I going to get myself out of this, because I had nothing on me. I had no tools of self-defense, no firearm, no knife. I wasn't supposed to bring anything, so I thought I did the right thing. Thankfully, a couple of people came around the corner from the street where we were at, and he took off. He jumped in his car and drove right off. So there is absolutely no question he had something bad in mind. And before this happened, before he actually grabbed me, he was trying to convince me to leave with him. And I kept saying, no, I'm good. I'm good. I'm going to wait here for my friend to come and get me. I'm good. And he didn't take no for an answer. So that really was a lesson learned the hard way in how gun-free zones are actually more dangerous than anything. And these legislators and these anti-gun groups will try to say that they're doing the best thing for you and they know what's best for you, right? And they push for this gun legislature, and they want to disarm people, and they want to create more of these sensitive places gun-free zones. And they have absolutely no understanding of how truly dangerous it is to do that.
Yeah. And I mean, thank goodness those people came by. Thank goodness you were able to stall for time.
Yeah.
It's easy and scary to imagine how the scenario could have played out differently had those things not happened.
Yep.
But you took this massive, basically horrible situation that happened to you, and you figured out a way to make the biggest positive that you possibly could.
Yes.
Let's talk about where your journey led you after that experience.
Yeah, absolutely. So I left Florida and I moved to Arizona, and I decided to get way more involved with the freedom crowd, right? All of the like-minded people that have the same goals. And that's actually how I met you, Mark.
Yep.
I had gone to the Second Amendment rally. It's a huge rally that we have here every year in Phoenix. And this was probably about 2 or 3 years ago. I met this amazing group of women called, at the time they were called the DC Project. We've done a little rebranding because people are like, what does DC Project mean? And we are now called the Women for Gun Rights.
Much more clear.
It's a lot easier to understand what our purpose is, 100%. So shortly after I joined the group, I was presented with an opportunity. The state organizer, Cheryl Todd, reached out to me and she was like, hey, we have some opportunities to testify on these upcoming bills. Would you like to come? And I was like, sure. I had the day off of work. I said, why not? Absolutely. I read over the bills and I testified about my experience, and one of the senators, I'm sure, I mean, you guys may have seen the video, he said, well, if you're so scared all the time, just stay home. You don't need guns. I don't feel that I need a gun.
What a stupid thing
Yeah.
to say.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing that there are people in power
Yep.
who think like this.
Yep.
It's disgusting, actually.
Yep. I had actually used my testimony in talking about gun-free zones, which was relevant to the bill that was going to be voted on. And I talked about that experience. And that was actually the first time I'd ever publicly talked about it. There were very few people that ever knew about that abduction attempt. So it was almost a very emotional experience for me. And I didn't realize it until I heard my voice projecting over these speakers to a bunch of people that I didn't even know and talking about this deeply personal thing. And a couple of the senators were on their laptops, they were on their phones. I'm here spilling my guts to them about this. Really, I mean, could have gone very, very bad, and explaining why, and that I have a disabling condition and I physically can't run away. I can't wait for the cops to come. I need to be able to protect myself at all times, no matter where I am. And that, his response was just, well, if you're so scared all the time, just stay home. So that really lit a fire up under me, and I was like, oh, these are the people that are deciding our freedoms and our rights every day. This is unacceptable. So I really used that, and the Women for Gun Rights group has been an amazing tool for sort of springboarding this and giving me so many opportunities to talk about this and talk about why it is so important for us to remain involved in legislature, because if we don't, those rights are taken away, and it's very, very hard to get your rights restored once they're taken away.
Yeah, and you also spoke at the Second Amendment rally here in Arizona, in Phoenix. Maybe we'll put a link in the description directly to your talk at the Second Amendment rally. One of the things I just love about having you at our firm is that you came here because we're a pro-freedom law firm. And it just really warms my heart that we have people like you, and there's a lot of them. I was on another interview recently, and they're like, oh, what are the attorneys for freedom about? I'm like, well, yeah, we got all of our lawyers are for freedom. That's true. But we got paralegals for freedom now, legal assistants for freedom, receptionists for freedom, because there's a lot of people who understandably like the idea of freedom, and we're starting to attract such people. And so I love the fact that we have a firm now that is attracting philosophically inclined people who want to be in charge of themselves. And so it's just great that you're one of those, and I love that you're coming on to do this Armed and Fabulous show, and I'm really excited about it.
Your activism journey took you all the way to Washington, D.C. pretty recently. You want to talk about that?
Sure, yeah. Women for Gun Rights actually afforded me the opportunity to go to Washington, D.C. and to talk about my experience. There actually was a federal bill that pertained to reciprocity for concealed carry permit holders, and that totally relates to my story. So I talked about my experience and how my right to protect myself shouldn't end at some boundary, right? There shouldn't be some imaginary line that determines whether I have the right to protect myself, and now I have a kid, right? I should be able to protect my baby, myself, my family. I don't even have to be able to give a reason. It's one of our rights. That's it. It should just be afforded. So it was really, really incredible. It was, I had somebody recently ask, oh, what's the next step for you? And I was like, I've already spoken on Capitol Hill. I mean, I don't really know if I can go up from there. That was like the ultimate honor to have bestowed upon me to be able to speak there. And I also spoke at a rally in front of the Supreme Court. So it was just incredible to be there.
I'll tell you your next step, the Lauren Liberty Podcast. Tune in to the AOR channel.
Yeah, we should also drop a link to that talk as well.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I would love that. And it was amazing to have spoken recently at the Second Amendment rally because that was kind of where this all began. So it was a very like full circle moment.
Full circle.
Yeah. I almost had more jitters about speaking at the 2A rally than I did at speaking at the Capitol for some reason.
Just because it was more meaningful in your journey.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. I was like, wow, I actually feel a little nervous about this one.
Yeah, that was like how you were talking about. Yeah, they called me up and I had the day off of work. I guess I would go talk in front. Did you know like one of the biggest things that people fear, I think it's like the number one fear people have is public speaking. So just the fact that you're the type of person who cares enough about this stuff that you're willing to get up in front of lawmakers.
Yes.
It's very impressive.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, and actually, you would probably be surprised to know that I was super shy when I was younger. Like, I would if I was going to the store and I wanted to buy something with my allowance money or whatever, I would send my little sister up to the cashier to pay for it because I didn't even want to talk to the cashier.
Doesn't sound like the Lauren I know.
I don't think shy and think Lauren. So, yeah, that's interesting. One of the things about our firm that I love so much is we hire people based on who's best for the job, right? We look at high character first and who we think could be the best for that position. So we don't intentionally go out and say, oh, we need a diverse workforce. But it just turned out that way. We have several women attorneys at our firm, and I understand you're going to have them on your show.
Yes. So the goal of the show is to have a guest on for each show and just talk about these issues with them. Talk about maybe they had an experience like mine, or maybe somebody they love had an experience like that. And that's what really opened their eyes. And I would also just love to talk about maybe what's their favorite gun to shoot, right? Everybody has a different preference. And just to sort of open up the dialogue and get women more comfortable in the 2A community, because it's not just all big macho men. The Second Amendment is for everyone. It's a very, very diverse group of people, and the more you get involved in it, the more you'll see.
We are super excited for your new show. How often are you planning to film it? How often do you want to release episodes? Do we know right now?
It's kind of up in the air. We're going to just maybe release a couple of episodes, probably weekly, and see how it goes, and then we'll continue from there. So hopefully the audience likes it. Hopefully it really resonates with a lot of people. And again, I just want to reiterate, this is not just for women. This is for men too. If you want to learn, maybe your wife is very uneasy with carrying a firearm. Well, this is going to help normalize it. It is absolutely normal to be able to defend yourself. There is no shame in it. There's nothing wrong with that. And the media likes to demonize it, but it is completely normal and it is a valid thing to want to do. So that's my goal, and hopefully everybody likes it.
We are super excited for the new podcast. Everybody stay tuned for it. Make sure to subscribe to the channel so that you can see in real time when we release them. Also go and check out attorneysonretainer.us to learn all about our self-defense program and becoming a client of our firm so that we can be there for you in the event that you're involved in a self-defense incident. Check out attorneysforfreedom.com to learn all about our law firm and the philosophy of our firm that continues to draw amazing, awesome freedom activists like Lauren Liberty. And Lauren, we're so proud of you. We're proud to have you at our firm, and just to be part of the team is awesome to work with you.
That's great.
Thank you. I'm happy
All right,
to be here.
everybody. Until next time, this has been Attorney Andy Marcantil, Attorney Mark J. Victor, and Lauren Liberty signing out.
Peace.